The Making of a Manager by Zhuo. Introduction. I want you to imagine something for a moment. Picture a young woman, just 25 years old, working at one of the fastest growing startups in the world. A place called Facebook. She started there as an intern, the very first engineering intern they ever had. Through a mix of talent, hard work, and a bit of luck, she's found herself on the design team. She's good at it. She gets along with everyone. Then one day, her manager calls her into a conference room and says, "Our team is growing. We need another manager. What do you think?" What do you say to that? It's a promotion. It's the next step. It's what you're supposed to want. So, she says yes. A few days later, she walks into that same conference room for her very first one-on-one meeting with someone who is now her direct report. Just yesterday, they were peers, friends, sitting side by side, sharing jokes and design ideas. Today, she is his manager. She walks in, trying to act cool, trying to pretend she's not nervous. He looks up from his phone, and the expression on his face is one she will never forget. It's the look of a surly teenager being forced to attend his little cousin's birthday party. His scowl seems to settle in for the winter. She tries to start a conversation. "So, what are you working on right now?" The scowl deepens. The silence is deafening. And in that moment, a single crushing thought screams through her mind, a thought so clear it might as well have been written on the wall in giant black marker: "You have no idea what you're doing." And in that moment, she felt he was absolutely right. That young woman was Zhuo. And the journey she took from that gut-wrenching moment of self-doubt to eventually becoming the vice president of product design at Facebook, leading a team that designed the experience for over 2 billion people, is the story at the heart of her incredible book, The Making of a Manager. This isn't just another business book filled with complicated charts and corporate jargon. This is a field guide from the trenches. It's a book that has sold hundreds of thousands of copies and has been embraced by leaders at every level, from Silicon Valley CEOs to first-time managers at small nonprofits, because it answers the one question that haunts every person who is suddenly put in charge of others: what do I do when everyone looks to you? By the time we're done here today, you're going to understand the simple but profound difference between being a boss and being a leader. You'll have a mental framework for making great decisions, giving feedback that actually helps people grow, and building a team that people are excited to be a part of. This isn't just about managing a company. It's about learning how to lead in any part of your life. It's a skill that, once you learn it, will serve you forever. So, let's begin with the single most important idea in the entire book, a belief so powerful it changes everything. Great managers are made, not born. Book summary. So, what is a manager? Before she became one, Zhuo thought a manager's job was basically to have meetings, give feedback, and decide who gets promoted or fired. It sounds about right, doesn't it? It's what we see in movies. It's the traditional idea of a boss. But this idea is completely wrong. It's like saying a chef's job is to use knives and turn on the stove. It describes the activities, but it misses the entire point. To really understand management, Zhuo gives us a beautifully simple analogy. Imagine you decide to start a lemonade stand. In the beginning, it's just you. You buy the lemons, you squeeze them, you mix in the sugar, you set up the table, you make the sign, and you pour every single cup. If the lemonade is too sour, it's your fault. If the sign is sloppy, that's on you. You are in complete control. Nothing gets done unless you do it. But then, something amazing happens. Your lemonade is a huge hit. There's a line around the block. You can't possibly squeeze the lemons fast enough. So you ask your friends, Henry and Eliza, to help you out. Congratulations! You are now a manager. Notice what just happened. The goal didn't change. The goal is still to run a great lemonade business. But how you achieve that goal has fundamentally shifted. Your job is no longer to be the best lemonade maker. Your job is to get better outcomes from a group of people working together. This is the core definition of management. It is the belief that a team of people can achieve more than a single person going it alone. Your job, as a manager, is not to do the work yourself, even if you're the best at it. Your job is to be a multiplier for your team. If you can sell 20 cups of lemonade an hour, that's great. But if you spend that hour teaching Henry and Eliza how to sell 16 cups an hour instead of 15, you've just created a system that sells thousands of extra cups over the course of a year. Your impact is no longer additive, it's multiplicative. And how do you do that? How do you become a multiplier? Julie says that every single thing a manager does, every task, every meeting, every decision, falls into one of three buckets. Think of them as the three levers you can pull to make your team amazing. They are purpose, people, and process. Purpose is the why. It's the outcome your team is trying to achieve. Why does this work matter? For the lemonade stand, is the purpose to be a friendly neighborhood hangout spot, or is it to have a lemonade stand on every block in the country? If your team isn't aligned on the why, you'll have people working against each other without even realizing it. The manager's job is to make sure everyone on the team has a clear and inspiring picture of what success looks like and cares about achieving it. People is the who. Do you have the right people on your team? Do they have the skills they need? Are they motivated? Are they in roles that play to their strengths? You can have the most inspiring purpose in the world, but if the people on your team aren't set up to succeed, you will fail. The manager's job is to recruit, develop, and retain a talented and collaborative group of individuals. And finally, process is the how. How does your team work together? How are decisions made? How do you share information? Who does what, and by when? Without good process, even a talented team with a clear purpose will descend into chaos. Think about the lemonade stand again. How does Henry know when to buy more lemons? How does Eliza know the secret recipe? A good process is what allows the team to operate smoothly and efficiently. Purpose, people, and process. The why, the who, and the how. That's it. A great manager is constantly asking themselves, which of these three levers can I pull right now to help my team get a better outcome? Now, this all sounds great in theory. But what happens when you're brand new? What happens when you're standing in that conference room, heart pounding, facing down that scowling new report? Julie says your first 3 months as a manager are not about having all the answers. They are about one thing: learning. This is your grace period. No one expects you to be an expert on day one. Your primary job is to listen, ask questions, and build trust. Especially if you were promoted from within the team, what she calls the apprentice path, the dynamic with your former peers is going to feel weird. The friendships change. You used to vent together about problems. Now, you're the one who is supposed to solve them. You used to give suggestions. Now, your feedback carries the weight of an evaluation. This transition is awkward. And you have to lean into that awkwardness. You have to have conversations that feel a bit uncomfortable. You have to ask a friend, what are your career goals? How can I help you get there? These aren't conversations you were having before, but they are the bedrock of your new relationship. The single most important currency you have as a manager is trust. Without it, you have nothing. Your reports will never tell you what's really going on. They'll hide their mistakes. They'll tell you everything is fine right up until the day they hand in their resignation. So how do you build trust? It's not a secret formula. You build trust with your team the same way you build it with anyone in your life. You show them that you genuinely care about them as people, not just as employees. You invest your most precious resource, your time, in helping them succeed. And you are honest and transparent, especially when it comes to their performance. This is where the one-on-one meeting becomes the most important tool in a manager's toolkit. It is sacred time. It's not a status update, that can be done in an email. A great one-on-one is focused entirely on your report. It's their meeting, not yours. Your job is to listen and ask good questions. Questions like, what's top of mind for you right now? What's the hardest part about your work this week? What can I do to make you more successful? And sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do to build trust is to admit your own struggles. To say, I've had that exact same problem. Here's how I messed it up, or I don't know the answer. What do you think? This wasn't intuitive for Julie at first. She thought a leader was supposed to have all the answers, to be a pillar of confidence. But she learned that vulnerability isn't weakness. As she puts it, vulnerability sounds like truth and feels like courage. When you show up as a human being, with your own flaws and fears, you give your team permission to do the same. And that is where real connection and real trust begins. Once you've built that foundation of trust, you can get to the work that truly multiplies your team's ability, the art of feedback. Now, most of us are terrible at giving feedback. We're afraid of hurting people's feelings, so we either say nothing, or we soften the message so much that it becomes useless. Julie talks about the dreaded compliment sandwich, where you say something nice, then slide in the criticism, then end with another nice thing. It's a technique we're often taught, but it's terrible. It feels insincere, and the real message often gets lost. Great feedback, Julie argues, is a gift. It's one of the most valuable things you can give someone. But to be a gift, it has to be helpful. And to be helpful, it needs to be clear, specific, and delivered with the genuine intention of helping the other person succeed. She breaks it down into a few types. There's task-specific feedback, which you should give as often as possible. This is about the what, not the who. It's not, "You're bad at presentations." It's, "In the presentation this morning, I noticed you jumped straight to the proposal without explaining the problem you were solving first. Next time, try setting the context so the audience can follow your thinking." See the difference? It's specific, actionable, and focused on the work. Then there's behavioral feedback. This is about patterns you notice over time. This is more personal, so it needs to be handled with more care. It's connecting the dots. I've noticed a pattern where, in meetings, you often have a defensive tone when people ask questions about your work. For example, yesterday when Sally commented on your code, your reply was just "trust me." This can make it seem like you're not open to collaboration. This kind of feedback, when delivered from a place of care and backed up by specific examples, can be transformative. It helps people see their own blind spots. But the most important rule of feedback is this: every major disappointment is a failure to set expectations. If the first time your report hears that they are not meeting expectations is during their annual performance review, you have failed them as a manager. A performance review should be a summary of things you've already discussed many times. There should be no surprises. If someone wants a promotion, but you don't think they're ready, don't wait 6 months to tell them. Tell them now. Say, "I want to help you get there. Here are the specific gaps I see, and let's build a plan together to close them." By setting expectations early and clearly, you turn disappointment into a roadmap for growth. Of course, to do all this, to build trust, to give great feedback, to set clear expectations, you have to manage the most difficult person of all, yourself. This is where Julie gets incredibly honest about her own struggles. She talks about imposter syndrome, that nagging feeling that you don't belong, that you're a fraud, and that any day now, everyone is going to find you out. This feeling is normal. Every manager, every leader, no matter how successful, feels like an imposter sometimes. Why? Because the job is constantly forcing you to do things you've never done before. You can't practice firing someone on the weekends. You have to learn by doing the real, hard, scary thing. The antidote to imposter syndrome is not to pretend you're perfect. It's to adopt what Stanford professor Carol Dweck calls a growth mindset. A fixed mindset believes that your abilities are set in stone. You're either good at something or you're not. So every challenge becomes a test that you might fail, proving you're not good enough. A growth mindset, on the other hand, believes that you can get better at anything if you put in the effort. Every challenge is not a test, but an opportunity to learn. Failure isn't a verdict on your worth, It's a stepping stone to improvement. With a fixed mindset, you hide your mistakes. With a growth mindset, you ask for feedback on them. With a fixed mindset, you say, I can't do that. With a growth mindset, you say, I can't do that, yet. This shift in perspective changes everything. It allows you to approach your own weaknesses with curiosity instead of fear. It gives you the courage to ask for help, to admit when you're wrong, and to see every stumble as part of the journey. As your team grows, your role as a manager has to evolve. When you're leading a small team of a few people, you're in the details of the work. You're a player coach. But when your team grows to 10, then 20, then 50 people, you can't be in every meeting. You can't review every piece of work. Your job shifts from doing to delegating. And delegation, Julie says, is a terrifying tightrope act. On one side, you have the micromanager. This is the manager who is too involved. They dictate every detail, they second-guess every decision, and they don't give their team room to breathe. The team becomes demoralized and dependent, unable to make a move without the boss's approval. On the other side, you have the absentee manager. This is the manager who is too hands-off. They delegate a problem and then disappear. The team feels abandoned and unsupported. They lack direction and coaching. Great delegation is about walking that tightrope. It's about knowing when to dive into the details and when to step back and trust your team. And the secret to getting this right is understanding that you should not be delegating tasks, you should be delegating outcomes. A micromanager says, I need you to do X, Y, and Z. A great delegator says, here is the situation. The outcome we need is to solve problem A. I trust you and your team to figure out the best way to do that. How can I support you? You are giving away the problem, not the solution. This empowers your team to own the outcome, to be creative, and to grow. One of the hardest but most important lessons for a leader is to give away your Legos, to let go of the things you love to do, or are even the best at, to create space for others to step up. Every time you successfully delegate, you are not just getting something off your plate, you are creating a new leader. And as you lead more and more people, your ultimate responsibility becomes shaping the team's culture. Culture isn't about the free snacks or the inspirational posters on the wall. Culture, as one of Julie's colleagues told her, is defined by what your organization is willing to give up for its values. If you say you value transparency, are you willing to share bad news openly, even when it's hard? If you say you value work-life balance, are you willing to promote someone who leaves at 5 p.m. every day over someone who works until midnight? Your team's culture is being shaped every day by the small signals you send. It's shaped by who you hire, who you promote, and what you celebrate. It's shaped by how you run your meetings. Do you encourage debate, or do you reward people who just agree with you? It's shaped by how you react to failure. Do you punish mistakes, creating a culture of fear, or do you treat them as learning opportunities, creating a culture of growth? One of the most powerful ways to shape culture is through rituals. At Facebook, they have a tradition called hackathons, where for a few days, people can work on any idea they're passionate about. This ritual sends a powerful message. We value bottom-up innovation and building things quickly. These traditions, repeated over time, become the living embodiment of your team's values. Ultimately, the journey of a manager is a journey of letting go. Letting go of the need to be the smartest person in the room. Letting go of the need to have all the answers. Letting go of the need to be in control of every detail. It's a journey of shifting your focus from your own success to the success of others. It's a journey from me to we. And it's a journey that, as Julie reminds us, is always only 1% finished. There is always more to learn, always another way to grow, and always another opportunity to help the people around you become the very best versions of themselves. Commentary. When you step back and look at the making of a manager, you realize it's about so much more than just a job title. At its heart, this is a book about growth. It's about the messy, awkward, and ultimately beautiful process of becoming a leader. What makes Zhuo's perspective so powerful is her profound humility. She doesn't present herself as some management guru who was born with all the answers. She presents herself as a student, someone who learned through trial and error, who made countless mistakes, and who is still learning every single day. That vulnerability is what makes the book so relatable and its lessons so resonant. The central idea that great managers are made, not born is, I believe, one of the most empowering messages in the world of work. It demystifies leadership. It takes it off a pedestal and puts it within reach of anyone who is willing to care enough and work hard enough to learn the craft. It tells you that you don't need a certain personality type, you don't need to be an extrovert, and you don't need to have an MBA from a fancy school. You just need to have the desire to help a group of people achieve something remarkable together. I think the purpose, people, process framework is elegantly simple and incredibly practical. It's a mental model you can apply to almost any situation. If your team is struggling, you can almost always trace the problem back to a breakdown in one of those three areas. Is our purpose unclear? Do we have the wrong people, or are they unmotivated? Is our process for working together broken? It gives you a diagnostic tool to figure out where to focus your energy. But for me, the most profound part of the book is the emphasis on the inner journey of a leader, the chapter on managing yourself, the recognition that you cannot effectively lead others until you can effectively lead yourself. The discussions around imposter syndrome and the growth mindset are critical, not just for managers, but for anyone navigating the challenges of a career and, frankly, of life. It's a powerful reminder that our greatest obstacle is often not the external world, but the internal critic in our own head. So, how can you start applying these ideas right now, even if you don't have the title of manager? First, the next time you're working on a group project, whether it's for school or a club, think about purpose, people, and process. Ask the group, what is our goal here? What does success actually look like? Who is doing what? How are we going to communicate? Just asking these questions will instantly make your group more effective. You'll be practicing management without even realizing it. Second, practice the art of giving good feedback. Make it a goal this week to give one person, a friend, a teammate, a family member, a piece of specific, positive, task-based feedback. Not just, good job, but, when you explained that concept in class today, the way you used that analogy made it really clear for me. Thank you for that. You'll be practicing a skill that will make every relationship in your life better. And third, pay attention to your own mindset. When you face a setback, notice the story you tell yourself. Is it a fixed mindset story, I'm just not good at this? Or can you reframe it with a growth mindset? This is hard, and I haven't figured it out yet, but I can learn. This simple shift can unlock incredible resilience and potential. That was a deep dive into The Making of a Manager by Zhuo. We've explored the core principles today, but I'll be honest with you. A summary, no matter how detailed, can only scratch the surface. The real magic of a great book is in the quiet moments when you're reading, when a particular story or a simple phrase connects with you in a way you didn't expect. This summary is meant to be a map, to show you the terrain and help you decide if this is a journey you want to take. If anything we've talked about today has sparked something in you, I truly encourage you to grab a copy. Reading it isn't just about learning concepts, it's an experience that can genuinely change the way you see leadership, work, and even yourself. There's a link to the book in the description below. Also, if you found this journey valuable, please take a moment to click that like button and subscribe to the channel. It lets me know that this work is helpful, and it ensures you won't miss our next exploration into another life-changing book. Let's keep learning and growing together.